Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan here with your Hollywoke hot take. LeBron James, who plays for the Lakers and the NBA, and I understand the NBA is very big in China. I understand it's very big in China. You know, China that has camps for the Uyghurs, uh, a Muslim minority in China that's horribly tortured. They have been known to use sexual assault as a torture tactic against women. They have harvest the organs of some of the prisoners, and they work them mercilessly. But LeBron James has something to say about America. Nothing about China. Weird. He, of course, says, "We live in two Americas," James said, following the Lakers' 118-109 loss to the San Antonio Spurs. You lost to the Spurs? Good. I hope you lose a lot. and that was a prime example of that yesterday. If you don't understand or don't see that after seeing what you saw yesterday, you really need to take a step back. Yeah, says the millionaire. Step back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We already know what would have happened if my kind, if anyone, would have even got close to the Capitol, let alone storm inside the offices, inside the hallways. Yeah, LeBron, if you millionaires went there, you'd probably be given a dinner and asked for donations. Oh, you mean black people? You mean like PLM and Antifa? Like those rioters? Those guys, a lot of those guys were white, though. In your defense, a lot of those guys were white. I don't know, when you saw the police take a knee, did you think that they were taking the knee to grab their other gun? I don't know where you get this. Yeah, we do live in two Americas now. You're sort of flipping the script at this point and trying to make it unfair to other people. So yeah, I don't listen to LeBron James when it comes to politics. It's funny that they ask him, but this is Newsmax, so they're trolling for this kind of stuff. And I'm sure LeBron James is willing to give him those quotes, or to give somebody the quotes, and then Newsmax will use them. But he doesn't have much to say about China, I don't think. I don't think he's really come out strongly against China and their horrible human rights record, but, seems to have a lot to say about America. Lots of criticisms for America, very little for China, it seems. Oh, I can't show this, but there is a Danish TV network that launched a new show reportedly aimed at audiences between the ages of 4 and 8 about a man with an unrealistically large, let's say, wang. And he can use it. It's prehensile. And he uses it to pick apples off a tree and walk his dog. It's crazy. I used to play a game called Gamma World. I don't know if any of you remember that. I'm really dating myself here. But I loved Gamma World. It was the Dungeons and Dragons equivalent of, and it was made by the same people who made Dungeons and Dragons. And in Gamma World, it took place in the distant future. So instead of fighting orcs and goblins and stuff like that, there was radioactive wastelands and future technology and cyborgs and robots. And so you would get mutant powers and, the weapons. And one of the mutant powers, there was a big long list, you would roll randomly, was enlarged body parts. So one of my friends who was playing a game at the time created a character named Chong. And that's kind of was Chong's deal. He had, you know what I'm saying. He had a really large wang. It was like 30 feet long, and he would use it, loop it as a lasso and pull himself up and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. And it was a funny character. It was just a funny character. But I wouldn't have, invited small children into that gaming session. I mean, this is weird. Why would they do this? It's a new animated series for Danish Children by John Dillermand. Features a man with a giant wang, can extend it several feet and used as a third arm. It's weird. It's weird. But, you know, it is a different culture, so maybe it's not as weird for them. They don't see it that way. They don't see it as anything sexual, I guess, to children. Therefore, it's okay. I don't know. Seems odd to me, you know, when I hear like a hyperbolic people on the right say, "Oh, Hollywood, they're teaching our children all sorts of horrible things," and I go, "Well, yeah, yes and no." And then I see something like this, I go, "Ooh, well, maybe." Although this isn't coming out of Hollywood, it's Danish TV, but who knows? Maybe they'll do an American remake. But speaking of American celebrities, celebrities respond to Trump's ban from Twitter. So a lot of this is, I did one of these yesterday. It was just so disappointing to see some of the actors that I used to like, you know, just dump on Trump. Julia Louise-Dreyfus, and she hates Trump. So what the F took you so long, Jack? You know, to see someone like this celebrate censorship, it's sad. It's really sad. Retired professional basketball player Rex Chapman. I don't even know who he is. Here's Michael Rappaport. Trump is banned from Twitter. Cheering, I guess. Jack, you did it, you F-you. Congratulations. Okay, so Twitter's going to become even more of an echo chamber for the 2% that use it. You people still don't get it. I mean, what happened to Tumblr, right? That's what Twitter's going to become, at least for the United States. It's going to be, you know, something like less than 2% of the population of the United States use Twitter. Maybe slightly more now, but I use Twitter because I promote, and I actually sold some books off of Twitter. So that's the only reason I'm torn about leaving, because there's, you know, it's like YouTube. There's just so many people on it as compared to the other platforms. But it's coming unglued, man. And a guy like Michael Rappaport, another actor, he's going to have to come on Parler, Gab, or whatever. And he's going to have quite a hole that he's dug for himself. Sacha Baron Cohen, another incredible disappointment. Celebrating the banning of Twitter. It's just terrible. 5 people are dead because of Trump's election lies. Lies you help spread. How many more have to die before you ban Trump from Twitter? Today, civil rights groups are calling on you to do the right thing. It's not the right thing, Sasha. You're a Brit. You don't get it. Chrissy Teigen laughs. Yashar Ali. I'm not sure I know who that is. Oh, here's Kathy Griffin. Finally, she gets her revenge. When are Republicans going to suspend Trump from the nuclear arsenal indefinitely? Well, leave it to the comedian to say the most serious thing. Patton Oswalt. God damn it, Trump just added me on Friendster. Well, at least he's still trying to be funny. Isaiah Whitcock Jr., I don't know him. Bethany Frankel, do I know her? I don't know some of these people. Oh, here's Jermaine Clement. And again, another disappointment. He's so funny. A lot of people laughing that Trump's banned from Twitter, but how great would it not to be allowed on Twitter? What? A lot of people laughing that Trump's banned from Twitter, but how great would it be not to be allowed on Twitter? What? I don't even get that. Pedro Pascal. Who is that? Is that the Mandalorian guy? Is that him? Yeah, that is him. That is him. Ding Dong Deet D. I don't know what that is. And Wanda Sykes. Finally, Jack told Trump to shut the F up. Can we put them on a family plan? Don Jr., Ivanka, Eric, Tiffany, Jared, you too, Melania. Shut all of those scoundrels down. Man, you just don't see it, Wanda. It's really terrible, especially when comedians do it. They've really forgotten their own history. You know, Lenny Bruce, he would be so banned and so attacked if he came out. I had an idea, and I'm going to tell you this idea. I've been keeping it a long time because I actually considered doing it. I was really close. I was starting to do the research, but I said no. I was going to go to a Philly comedy club and do a Lenny Bruce set word for word. Like word for word, and videotape it. But I decided against it because I didn't want to get attacked. You know, Lenny Bruce is considered a legendary comedian who broke all sorts of boundaries. He couldn't do that today. Not with these people. Look at the establishment. Look at them. See their ugliness? They're telling you, shut the F up. Do not step out of line or we will crush you. We'll crush you. You either toe the party line or you are scum. You are scum of the earth, and we will make your lives miserable, at least on Twitter. But Twitter is not everything, which is probably why I should leave it, but the money, I'll probably hang on for a little while. Plus, you know, I can make these videos. But never forget, Twitter, only 2%. It's not the pulse of the country. LA thinks it is. Oh yeah, Los Angeles and Hollywood, they think that 2% speaks for the whole country. So do a lot of, unfortunately, Washington politicians, especially the ones on the left. I think the reason they think this, and I honestly believe this, I think these people don't do their own research. They assign it to one of their minions who have to be extremely left and aligned with their political views. They believe that because their bosses tell them to, and tell them to, you know, oh, just check Twitter. What's the word on Twitter? And because their bosses do that, they use Twitter as a guide to give them feedback back. And it's like a feedback loop, you know? It's the bosses telling them, well, what's Twitter saying? So even if you were one of the brave assistants who said, well, I don't know, there's only 2% of people really use Twitter. Are you sure that's a good gauge? They'd be out. So instead, the boss is like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You have to use Twitter. Everybody uses Twitter. No, 2% of the country. 98% of the country, they just don't have Twitter accounts. I know plenty of people, they're just not on Twitter. You know? I had to tell a friend how to get on Twitter because I was saying, oh, I was tweeting the other day and this happened. They wanted to get in on it. But most people I know don't have a Twitter account. They just don't. They don't need one. They're not promoting anything. So this is all nonsense. This is already an echo chamber. And these people just don't see it. And Trump, keep in mind, Trump's a celebrity too. So he was in that echo chamber for a while. Hate to tell you. And he was the bad boy. You know, he was the bad boy who came in. Now you guys have kicked off Trump. Oh, you're so stunning and brave. It's going to destroy you. You know, you're going to come out with some crazy project that you think is going to kill. It's going to be absolutely devastatingly popular. And it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to get greenlit by a lefty studio head that loves it. Oh, we love it. We love it. And it's going to be super woke and super left-leaning, and no one will see it. And you're going to be at the premiere just stunned. Stunned as the critics rave about it, and no one goes to see it. And in fact, the normal people that do see it, the few that do, hate it. Because you'll be that out of touch. I'll remind you once again of Will Wheaton and his 3 million followers on Twitter, and he demanded Jack Dorsey ban Alex Jones. He's another one who loves censorship, and he's a big-time lefty. So I'm leaving Twitter. You didn't ban Alex Jones. Jack held the line for a few days or whatever. I'm going to Mastodon. So he went to this other platform called Mastodon. But see, the difference between Mastodon is even further left and totally curated. Well, guess what? It's such an echo chamber. Will Wheaton wasn't left enough for him. And he ended up getting ousted. And then he said, oh, I got to rethink this. Oh, yeah, I guess you do. Now that you're banned, now that you finally got the message that it comes back to bite you, all these people could be banned by Jack now. And what would you do? What would you do, Julia, if you were banned by Jack? You got drunk one night and said something a little off color, trying to make a joke, and then you're like, oh, come on, I'm sorry. Nope, permanent ban, Julia. What are you going to do? Nothing. Nothing. If the Twitter mob turns against you, you're not going to do jack. Pardon the pun. Same thing with all these guys. They'll be gone. And if their star is falling out of the sky and they're not important anymore, it could be important to be on Twitter. Could hurt their career. People in Hollywood very sensitive to that kind of stuff. Ooh, did you hear so-and-so got banned off Twitter? Yeah. I was thinking about them for this new movie, but now, yeah, no, I'd stay away. Yeah, you know it's like that. So enjoy this now, I guess, but so many disappointing faces here, familiar faces. And you should remember these people and not give them your money. You should not watch their TV shows and not go to their movies. Don't reward their behavior. I'm done. It kills me, but I won't see Sacha Baron Cohen's movies now. Not when he's going to go up and tout censorship as a good tool. It's a terrible, terrible tool. I'm not seeing his movies. I don't care how funny he is. He's an idiot for doing this, in my view. You're all dumb for doing this. You could all be canceled tomorrow. And who would care? Now you've just lost a bunch of other people. Sorry. Bye.